Hi everybody, Deanna here. We're going to start our recipe mini album, and we are going to need to cut some medium chipboard, and we're going to cut 2 at 8 wide by 10 high, and one of these is going to be cut just under the 8 wide, just a tiny bit. I think I ended up with about a 1/16 less, and that piece that you cut a little bit smaller is going to be your top flip coming in from the right hand side. No, it's not. It's going to be your left hand side. Sorry about that. The other one is going to be the bottom. You'll also need 2 2-inch by 10-inch pieces, 2 inches wide by 10 inches high, and 1 4 inches wide by 10 inches high. And these are going to be laid out like so. You're going to have this one on the left, then a hinge, or then a 2-inch piece, your base, another 2-inch piece, and then your 4-inch piece. Let me see if I can zoom this out a little bit so you can see this a little better. I have to work like this for a little bit. There we go. So that is what we need for the chipboard, and I'm using medium weight chipboard. It's black on both sides. All right. You're also going to need 3 12 by 12 pieces, and you are going to cut 1 12 by 12 by 12 high and 10 3/8 wide. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to avoid our chipboard lining up at a bad spot. So if we line these up and we start laying them out, these end up being at a bad section and it will create a weak spot, and we don't want that. So we're going to take that first piece and we're going to cut it at 10 3/8. So we'll be taking off 1 5/8. All right, so that's our left hand side. Our second one, we're going to leave the 12 length, and we're going to cut 10 inches. So that'll be taking 2 inches off. And our last piece for right now, we're going to leave at 12 inches. We will cut that down when we get our final end piece and measure over 1 inch. So what I like to do is, sorry about that, I like to score my edge. So I'm going to score this one at 1 inch. Alright, so 1 inch. I'm going to turn it. I'm going to score it another inch this way. And these will all line up, and this will help us later on to fold that up. And I'm going to score at another inch this way. Alright. Let's score all of these. This one only needs to be scored on the top and the bottom edge there. Boy, that looks crooked to me. No, it doesn't. That's weird. Got enough playroom, so hopefully it won't affect that, but that is crazy. That looked crooked. Alright. So that's piece 2. And piece number 3. And I'm not going to score. I'm going to score just part of it here. I don't know how much we're going to need. Let's turn this around here, and then just score down a little bit on this one. So that's just 1 inch on each one of those ends too. All right. So we're going to start with our left piece, the one that we cut at 10 3/8. We're going to take some score tape. All right, here. This is a huge roll. Let's see if we can do this. And I'm going to put that right along that edge there. And I'm just making it so I can just see the black. I don't want it to hang over the edge either way. All right. And let's break that. Well, we've got this right here. Let's take the second one and do the same thing. This is for our last piece there. And hopefully you can see that I'm just leaving just a tiny bit of black there. And you can just glue this, and I will add a little bit of glue too, just to make sure that we get a good adhesion. All right. This is a new double-sided tape that I'm trying. It's Express It. This is a 1/2 inch. So it's 55 yards come on a roll. So it's just what I'm trying. See how I like it. So let's peel this first one off here. And we're going to line that right up there. Our top. And we don't want to see any shiny. There we go. Give that a good press. It should be good. There we go. We're going to do the same thing for this one. Bring this in. Line it up at the top there. Just kind of let it float down on it. Just like that. Okay. That looks good. Nice and smooth. Okay. So I'm going to slide this to my right here. And we're going to start with our shortest piece. And that should line up just about in there. And then one of our 2-inch pieces. Now I like to stay 1/4 of an inch apart. So I'm going to grab 1/4 of an inch tape so we can put that down when I do that. We're going to use some tape and some glue on this. So make this quick here. I usually try to smooth it out as I'm going along so I don't have to do a bunch of that when I'm done. Burnish it really good. Just like so. This folio is going to be done in a few videos. I'm not sure how many we'll end up doing yet, but we will see. Break it up a little bit, makes it a little easier for everybody. All right. So I'm going to peel this. And now I can also use my ruler and set that at 1 inch. But the score lines give me a good base for that too. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue. There we go. And if I go off the edge and get a little bit on there, I'm not worried about it too much. What this does is the tape is going to allow it to help hold it until the glue can do its magic too. And this is art glitter glue, so it does grab a hold pretty good. But it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. All right. Pull that up. I'm going to line up my corner here. On that line along the bottom. See? That looks pretty good. Okay. I'm going to flip this over. Give this a good press. Move that glue around. Make sure the tape doesn't have any air bubbles in it. Okay. Now, some people use the 1/4 inch tape in between. Some do not. And I think I'm going to, I think. And right in there. It just allows you to kind of see that. If the tape comes over a little bit, I'm not too worried about it. It's all going to get adhered to something anyway. So our next one we're going to bring right up next to that. And that's going to be right on that spine. So I'm going to really give this good tape. I'm going to tape all along this here. Oopsie. Just a little bit to that. It's roll so big it's almost unmanageable. But okay. This album goes together pretty good, and it will hold a lot of recipes. And also if you're like me, I pull recipes out of magazines or something, and they always get underneath something, so be nice to have a spot to put those to. Whoa. It's big. It rolled right away from me. All right. I think we got room for. I'm going to move this. Then we'll add another 1/4 inch piece to that. Okay. Just the back side here. Whoops. Come on. The tape is grabbing it pretty good. There we go. Whoopsie. Oh, for goodness sakes. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. And I'm gonna put some glue on this one too. If it's on there. I'm going to bring that up to that 1/4 inch tape. Line it up with my 1 inch score line. Press it down. We're going to flip it over. Give it a good score. There we go. The next piece is our bottom piece, and that is 8 by 10. Let's lay another piece of that 1/4 inch tape right along there. My hands are dry, so everything wants to stick to them. But if I get them, can't use any hand lotion when I'm doing this, because then I'll have a mess. So it'll get all over my project, and we can't have that either. So we just, whoops, it's a little crooked, but it ain't gonna matter. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this tape the way it's going. That's the second. It says it tears easy. So we'll see. That might be a little too easy for me. And I should have probably had this pre-taped for you, so we're not doing this, but I did not, so you're getting a good view. And there's a lot of videos out there. Anybody who does mini albums pretty much has a video on how they do their album covers. And so you don't have to do it my way. You can just take my measurements and do it the way you like to, or follow a different video. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's whatever you're comfortable with. And I won't be offended if you did, because everybody has what they're comfortable with and whatever makes it easy for you. We're going to push that right up against that tape there. Use our score line again. Press on it. Oh, that is a little crooked. Let's see, that glue gives me just a second to... I don't know if I can get it or not. Okay, let me see here. Yeah. This might be that crooked piece here. All right. So in order to keep that even on the top and bottom, we might have to be... I don't know why that's crooked. I'm going to check the cutter. Check the cutter and see what's going on here. I guess 10 inches. Okay. There we go. Put it back on the cutter. It must have moved a little bit or something. No biggie. We caught it. I just didn't want that. Although it was only a little bit, I still did not want that to be like that. So let's go back in here again. That's the nice thing about that glue. That's what it allows you to do. If something happens, you can have a few seconds to pull it up. All right. A little off, but not bad. I think by the time we're done, we'll be okay. All right, flip it over. And we're gonna get that glue moved around. Make sure the tape doesn't have any air bubbles in it. It leaves a few little marks from your thing. It's not that big of a deal. That's gonna get covered. All right, now they're 1/4 inch piece. Now we are right, it shouldn't have worked out that way, but it did. I'm not sure why it did, but it did. All right. Shouldn't create a problem, or just over that way. Okay. 2-inch piece here. Moving right along. We want this one to be glued again. That's going to be close to that edge thing again, our other tape where it meets. And I think I'm going to correct that and not cut that second piece. I think just leave the second piece at 12 by 12. Or, I mean, 10 by 12. No, 12 by 12. 12 by 12. And 1/4-inch piece on here, because I'm closer to that thing than I want to be on mine, but correct it to 12 by 12, and I will write that in the description too, so that people who are going along with it can, so that would be 12 by 12 instead of 10 by 12, because that was the one we cut 2 inches off of. All right. All righty. Okay. Bring that in against your 1/4-inch edge. Along your score line. Mark it. Flip it. Burnish it down. Making sure there's no air bubbles in the tape. And the glue is spread out. There we go. Another 1/4-inch piece, and then we'll put our last one on, and we'll be able to fold this in here. All right. And this is your 4-inch piece here. And this actually kind of gives you some real time, what it's like. There we go. This is a nice size album. It's not too huge. It's a nice size. We'll put some more glue on there. Oops. On the end there. All right. Bring that to the 1/4-inch tape. There we go. Your score line. Like I said, you can use your ruler, and I sometimes do, but this one we're gonna put this way. All right. Let's get this out of the way. There it is. Find the needle for the glue. We don't want that drying up on us while we're working here. So now we're going to start pulling this up here. Get it to start working those fibers. Just working those fibers. And we're going to measure over 1 inch here. Mark that. And let's see if I can get it. Got it right here. I'm just going to cut it off with an X-Acto blade. Just because it's handy right now. And then we'll measure that and tell you how big that is. Okay. So this one we cut off 4.5 inches. Okay. So we're going to start bending this up, relaxing that, breaking those fibers, getting it used to it. And I have a big table, and this is folded up pretty big here. We'll measure it a little bit. Oops, sorry about that. I just bumped the camera. Sorry. And we're going to do the same all the way around. Just start gently bending that, getting it used to that. Okay. I want to get these corners really good so I can see them. Get those marked really good here. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to cut these squared off here. I'm going to cut right on my, I'm going to stay just like a 1/16 of an inch away from that corner. And we're just going to do that. I think Tamara Merrill does this with Country Craft Creations, and I know one of her other team members does this same. I think Bobby Weaver does this. I think. Alright, I'm going to get these two. When you fold it, it makes it pretty easy to see that. You can always cut off a little bit more if you need to, but this just keeps it nice and looks pretty clean when you're all done. Like I said, I'm just staying just a tiny bit away from that corner. Boy, I'm just got, this is so long. All right. Now I'm going to take my glue. Let's see what we got here. Oh. Okay. And I'm going to start by putting the glue right along my edge here and start softening up that edge that's got a fold. And I'm going to do the same along the bottom here. I just want that glue to start softening that paper just a little bit, just so that it doesn't tear. There we go. I think we can get that pull those tapes out of there right now. Whoopsie. There we go. Pull off 4 of those. There we go. All right. So that should start softening up a little bit. Let me move this up here. Let me measure this a second. You can get an idea of how long it is. All right. This ruler is 18. So we are about 26 inches long. So, there we go. Okay, I think that starts softening up. So I'm going to add some tape along that edge there, just so it can have something to adhere to. And we'll also add more glue. Okay. I'm going to bring that right in there. That should be good. Okay. And we're going to give this some more glue. That way if our tape for some reason ever fails, we have some glue in there also. Here we go. I'm going to start in the middle and I'm just going to pull gently towards me. Let's start. Okay. There we go. Let's flip this around. Some tape here. Okay. If it goes over the edge just a little bit, it's going to be on the inside and that's going to be covered, so I'm not too worried about it. I think I want to add just a little bit more glue along the edge, so I'll just soften that up a little bit more. Oopsie. And down to the end. Okay. Hopefully I can, I know it's kind of hard to see this whole thing here. I apologize if I get out of frame. I do want that softened. Okay. Whoa. There we go. Oops. That off. And we're going to start again, just gently. All right. Right in the center. Start getting that. Get that to adhere. And then you. Okay. Bring this down this way. Again. Now when we bring this one in, this should just match up there pretty good. Okay, it looks like we've got a little hanging over that way. Okay. Push that in, let me see here. Just a tiny bit. on this edge here, so I'm just gonna, I mean, it's just a little tiny bit, like that much. There we go. Now we're on the inside. So let's get this softened up here. Okay. Zip tape. And I used to do it like almost everybody else did it with the cutting it on an angle. But then I seen Tamra doing it this way, and it just seems to me it looks so much neater. But whatever you're comfortable with, you can do. That went right up underneath my nail. It kind of hurt. And I'm going to get some glue on here. All right. Oopsie. In the middle, get my white out. There we go. Give that a good press. We're going to turn this. Get our glue in there. Okay. Press our corner in. These both look pretty good. This one maybe just a tiny, tiny bit. I think even less than the other one. So just, here we go. Just a tiny bit. Let's get the tape down here. My glue just fell over on my laptop. Made my screen disappear. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Bring that up in the center. Pull it out. Okay. Now we're going to take, where is my, oh, there it is, this one. I'm just gonna use my ruler there. I'm just gonna slowly start giving those the idea of starting to bend just a little bit. Just give them the idea. And then press on it a little bit. Sometimes a pencil works pretty good. Just to start relaxing that a little bit. Here. I don't want to force it too fast. We want to get those fibers to start liking the idea of bending. Okay, looks pretty good. This one here is not liking that so much. to get that to start to like that idea. Anything rounded. Stopped using the pencil because it was leaving a mark. You don't need marks. And eventually that tape will start grabbing that on the other side. All right. And that is our book. That's the base of our book. Now on the left-hand side here, we're going to have some hinges. So let's set this aside a second. And we will grab that. I need my scoreboard. And I need my hinge. Here we go. Okay. Now for the hinge, these are cut 9 5/8. 9 5/8 high and 6 1/4 wide. Now I scored at 3/8 of an inch. I scored at 1 1/8 of an inch, 1 7/8, 2 3/8, 3 1/8, 3 7/8, 4 3/8, 5 1/8, and 5 7/8. And what this gives us is 1/2 inch gussets with a 3/4 of an inch hinge. And you're just going to start with your first one, which is 3/8, and you're going to fold that. Then I go to the next one and I start bending them up. These are already been pre-bent. Then you got your 1/2 inch, you're going to leave that. And your next 2 3/4 of an inch, you're going to bring those up like a mountain. And you're going to get those liking the idea. So now you got 2. And then you're going to skip that next 1/2 inch. And you're going to bring up your next 2 3/4 of an inch. And you will have 3. We are only going to have 3 pages on this. We have other things going on, but it's going to have 3 pages. So let's glue these together. Alrighty. Okay. Skip. And I'm doing it right at the top of the line there. We're going to add glue too. I'm going to skip my 1/2 inch. I'm only doing it on one side of each of the 3/8. Skip the 1/2 inch and then follow along on the top of that score line for the last one. And we're going to add more, but this is actually going to get these put together. So let's do that. And we're going to add some glue. Okay. And we're going to put those together just like that. Give that a good squeeze. Okay, we're going to remove our next one. And we're going to put some more glue down. And the reason I go with the 3/4 of an inch hinge is because it allows your pages to lay flatter. And I'm going to press that together. Looks kind of weird right now, but it will make sense in a minute here once we get them all together. All right. And I'm going to get that. Wipe up that glue. Okay. I'm going to peel this last one here and put my glue down. And we're going to fold that one in just like that. I'm going to give that a good burnish there. And we're going to leave that out. Okay. And that is our 3 hinges. Now we want to check this to make sure that it's going to lay in there good. Let me get those. Whoops. Oh, I had glue on there. Okay. Put them back and forth a little bit. Here we go. All right. Let's grab our book back a second. And this is our left side. Yep, and we will be ready. We're going to put that right in between there. Perfect. So these hinges, what I told you, it's 9 5/8 high by 6 1/4 wide. So 9 5/8 high. We want that underneath there by 6 1/4 high. So before we put that down, we got to put our inside paper down. Alright, and we can use, I believe, just regular cardstock. Let's go with 12 by 12. We're just going to mark it. I want to stay about a 1/16 of an inch, no more than an 1/8 of an inch away from that edge. So that will give us, oops, here's my ruler here. Okay. So that will be, this dark paper is hard. So 10 inches. We're going to go, let's do 9 7/8. 9 7/8. And we're going to keep our 12. 9 7/8. Okay. All right. That brings us to there. All right. I think with this, I'm just going to lay tape on the top and the bottom, and the one side maybe, and then we're going to glue the rest. Okay, so I'm staying just a tiny amount away from the edge there. Okay. It is so hard to see. Black on black. There we go. Get that over there where I can see a little better. Okay. And on this edge here. Like that. Again, this is 9 7/8 by the 12-inch length. There we go. And if you see any of your tape hanging over the edge, then just kind of roll it back in there. And you can tell from the back. If you look at it from the back, you'll see shiny. Not seeing any. So we're going to just lay on some glue here. Be on there pretty good. And this is a good glue. Okay. Just bring this over so you can see it better. Bring it right to that edge there. Now I've got glue, so it'll be a little slippery here. Like I said, it should be about a 1/16 of an inch. Okay. All right. Get that glue squeezing around in there. Get that tape down. Okay. Get this starting to relax there. Now this little back of this is also rounded, so that might work even better. Oh, I see you pulling away. So before we do too much of that, I'm just going to let that kind of set up in there. Okay. All right. Another 12 by 12 piece. We're going to cut that down to 9 7/8. Here, and I don't know if I want to overlap that. I don't think we need to. Or maybe we do need to. It looks like it's going to be. Don't know what's wrong with my cutter, but I will tell you right now that that thing is not cutting right very good today. Like that. Okay. Slide this away so I can see this better. Make it a little faster from my end. There we go. Now our last piece is going to be a lot smaller, so we might be able to get away with a scrap here. Let's see. So if I've got a scrap that will work. Now this cardstock is American Crafts cardstock. It's a pretty good crafts. It's a pretty good cardstock. I use it for most of my things because I have easy access to this. So and it seems to work pretty good. I don't have much trouble with that. I think I only had one time where I had some cracking, but it wasn't bad. I think I just didn't soften the paper good enough first. Oopsie. Come on. Stuck to my glue. Again, I want to make sure I have plenty of glue because I'm not using a ton of tape on this. And I trust this glue, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay. Let's move our book back here. And we're going to overlap just a little bit. See, just a little bit of shiny there. I'm going to tuck that in. Okay. Just a tiny bit. Maybe like... Oh my gosh, there's this like white up there. How can that be? I spilled the difference there. I'm not sure about that cutter. I don't know what the deal is. For some reason it's off. Make sure that glue is sticking really good. Okay. And the tape. I'm going to give this just a little bit here. Let it start getting used to the idea. Just a little bit. Let's go back here. Give this one another little try here. Looks like it's starting to hold better. Okay. Alright, so let's see if we got a scrap piece here. And we do. So we'll use this whole thing here. And we're just going to cut it at 10 7/8. This is just a scrap from one of the ones we cut. I'm sorry, 9 7/8. One of the ones we cut off of the other ones, off the tops. So, and this one I'm just going to use glue. There we go. Okay. I'm going to keep it about a 1/16 away from the edge. And I'm going to all right. Starting to bend those a little bit. Looks like it's holding good. Okay. See if this one's holding pretty good. Looks like it. We're just being gentle, not going crazy, just gentle. And there it is. Okay. So now we're back in our front, and we'll keep bending those. We'll keep bending them, just getting that paper to relax. And those I just used to being manipulated a little bit. Okay. Now back to our hinge. So now with this I used, all the rest of the cardstock I use for this project is heavyweight plain cardstock from Hobby Lobby. And it's the 11 by 8.5 because I didn't need to use 12 by 12. So, all right. So we got this going here. So let's get this like that. Set this aside. And we don't want to tape this. We don't want to tape this part, but we want to get all of these other edges. So let's get that going here. And I'm going to tape that whole bottom. A little crooked there. Okay. It is very hard to see black on black. Okay. Hard to see black on black. Here we go. And I'm going to remove this one so I can add another strip on there. This will just be easier. I have this right in my hand, so we'll just use this one. There we go. Right. Oopsie. All right. I'm going to add some glue to this. And you could use this mini album for anything. You don't have to use it as a recipe book. It's just what I had a need for at this time. Alright, make sure we have our side there. There we go. Sorry, inside. Make sure it's flat. We're going to line this up in the center here and top to bottom. So, looks like we're going to have about 1/4 of an inch on the top and on the bottom. I'm not pressing it down, I'm just looking. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty straight. Okay. There it is. So we're just going to start pressing that down. Open that up. Press that down there. Make sure everything is in there good. Okay, this one too. I'm just using the edge of this to press right by those score lines, just to make sure it's in there good. Again, the same thing. Using that edge to press that down. I'm going to get this, and we're going to get that. We want those to move back and forth freely. Okay. So now with our 1/2 inch tape, we're going to come in. And let me get this so you can see it good here. And we're going to put it at the top edge on both sides. Here and here, here and here, here and here. And I'm going to grab something white so I can see under there, because it's almost impossible. Here we go. That'll be easier for you to see too. So right along that top edge. And we're going to use this as a guide to keep from going down more than a 1/2 inch on this hinge. We want to save that other 1/4 of an inch to keep our things laying flat. So I'm going to put the paper on this side so you can see this on this side. We're going to do the same thing right on that top edge. There we go. Try not to go over, because this is going to be attached to your page, and the pages are tunnels. So since we got this right here, we'll just do this side. Your pages are tunnels, and you don't want anything sticky, because we can use the tunnel part. We're going to leave one edge open for a tag, a large tag. So we want to keep that in mind, that we don't want any tape that might grab our tag on the inside once it's sealed shut. So although we want it to the top, we don't want it going over the top. We can help it. And I am just barely seeing a black edge, and that's what I want. Okay. And our last one here. Same thing. It's a lot of repetitiveness, but you know, once you get used to it, it's really not that bad. Okay. We can see this one a little better, but we can put this back here just to make sure. We don't want to be making any mistakes. Now you could do this before you glue it down if you'd like, just in case you did make a mistake. Then you don't have to worry about trying to get it out of the album. There we go. Alright, that is all ready for our pages, but we are not going to put them in yet. We're going to do the pages, we're going to finish the pages and decorate them before we actually put them on the hinges, but we're that far. Now, let's do, we got one flap here. Here's my tunnels. There should be, okay, that one there, okay. Alright, so let's assemble our tunnels so they are ready. You need 3 8.5 by 11s, and you're going to cut them down to 7.5 by 9 3/4. So 3 of those, 7.5 by 9 3/4. You're also going to need 3 8.5 by 11s cut down to 7.5 by 10 3/4. Now your 10 3/4 ones, you're going to score. Oops, let me get this here. All right. Your 10 3/4, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 10 1/4. So let's do this one together. Ready? And I already got tape on these, just so I could be a little ahead of the game. So you're going to score at a 1/2 inch. I like to do it twice. And you're going to score at 10 1/4. Now I only use 1/4 inch tape on these because I'm going to add glue. So so 3 of those. All right, let's get these kind of working here. Get them burnished, folded. All right. So I already got one done ahead of time. So it's just a tunnel. Okay. Let's get this one here. I'm going to pull the tape. I'm going to add glue to this. Again, the tape is just on this one is going to be more just to hold it in place until the glue dries. You're going to take that and you're going to line it up on the corner. Make sure your edge is lined up. Oops, we're sliding around there a little bit. And that looks good. A little burnish. Yep, looks pretty good. Okay. All right, get rid of that glue. Looks pretty good. Double check our other one. All right, so we're gonna pull the tape off of this one. Maybe. There we go. And we're going to put some glue on there. Just get glue underneath there. And then this should press right down. You just got to keep this flat. There we go. And that should look good on this side too, and it does. And our last one. Pull our tape, some glue, our last page. We're going to line it up. Make sure our edge of our paper is right there. And we just gently press it. So you still get it. Okay. That looks pretty good. Okay. Lift that up. Pull this tape. And we don't want that to buckle up. We want to make sure that's smooth. Okay. That looks good. So that is our 3 tunnels. And if you want to check them, and always before you get your tape and stuff off of your tunnels, make sure that you check each one to make sure that it fits in there good. So we can just do a little test fit here. Take that and they should slide right over there. If they don't, then we can trim it off in there. That one, yep, it slides. It's a nice fit. You don't want them loose because then they'll slide around, they won't be even. But that fits pretty nice. Let's try another one here. And again, we'll test fit them again before we glue them on. We shouldn't have any problems there. There we go. All right, that's our 3 tunnels. Those are ready to go. Oops, got my tape coming off there. We don't want that. There we go. All right, and we got time left tonight, and what we're going to do is we'll just attach this flip. So this here is going to house some of these. These are Hobby Lobbies. Oh, let me see the packaging. They're in their paper crafting department, and $2.99, but they go on sale for 50% off. Otherwise, you can use a coupon. If you want to order them online, they're $921,288. But I believe we can get 10 on this, and we're going to hinge these. I've got my hinges already pre-cut. If you want to get ahead of the game, you can pre-cut your hinges. They're 6 inches by 1 inch, and then they're scored at 1 inch. So just to create a hinge. And we will glue those to the back. And what this is going to allow us to do is to utilize the back and the front of our recipe cards. So we should be able to get 10 on this. And what this is going to do is it's going to be magnetized to this. So when you want to just do the recipes, you can just pull that out. You don't have to have your whole book in the way. So we're going to add our other magnets down to this surface right now before we end up doing any decorating. So I'm just going to pull a piece, slide that under my magnet there like that. Oops. We're going to do the same to this. I already cured the other magnets, just so I wouldn't forget. All right. So this is going to go on. Actually, let's lay this down. This piece here is the flip for this. So this is going to be on here, and that's going to cover that. And you'll also be able to utilize the front and the back of this. So this is 7 7/8 wide by 10 1/2 high. Now on the 10 1/2, you're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch. So we'll score. We're going to score at a 1/2 inch. Get over there. 1/2 inch. And then 5/8. And this is going to give us a 1/8 inch gusset to allow for that thickness of this. And it's not a lot, but it should be enough. Okay. So let's put a piece of tape on that edge, and we'll get that tape down there. Okay, just on that 1/2 inch edge there. There we go. And we're also going to add some glue to that. And that is going to go centered. I'm going to flatten that down first when I glue it down, when I tape it down, just so I can see that. And that is going to be centered. Don't forget you got a gusset right here. See where that bends? You want to stay away from that. So it's going to be almost to the edge, but not quite. And almost to the top. In fact, it might be a little too long. I think we'll be all right because that's going to come up there. Okay, that's why. Okay. So let's take this off, and you're going to stay closer to your outside edge than you are that score there. All right, so let's get some glue on this so we have a little wiggle room. Don't want it on your gusset there. All right. Don't want it right over the edge. Make sure we got room there. All right. Looks pretty good. And we gotta get our gusset back in there. There we go. Okay, and we want this to match up, just like that. So we're not gonna press down until we put this on here. Make sure we're lined up good. Looks good, so let's press in our magnets. Okay. That one and that one. Let's see what we got here. There we go. Okay. All right. So now we're just going to leave that in there. Fold that, and then the next time we come back, we'll be working on our pages and probably put our hinge on. But I think that's good for tonight. So we're going to quit there. And I want to thank you for joining me. And if you like my videos, I hope you consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like this video, thumbs up is always appreciated. And until next time, I hope you enjoy your rest of your weekend or your night. And I will see you soon. Bye.